Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I want to talk about Tinder. I made this video in reaction of something that happened. I did a 10 survival item challenge during a bug out route exercise, and I came to the conclusion that my fire skills are in need of some improvement. And the problem was I had some tinder, but because it was a 10 item survival challenge, I only used a ferro rod. And the problem is with the ferro rod you need a really good tinder. And yeah, it was raining, everything was a little bit wet. I had to find my tinder in nature during my bug out route, and to be honest, it did not go that well. I tried 8 times in the middle of the night to try to make a fire. It failed, and yeah, it made me realize I need to study further on this point. So that's the reason why I make this video about the best ways, the best tinder you can put in your bug out bag. I will show you how to make it, how to use it, and what the downsides and the benefits are. But before we do that, if you're interested in detective stories, I've wrote a first part of an 11-part series called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, the link will be down in the description. So I will show you now several types of tinder that are, to my opinion, the best ones to put in your bug out bag. So one of my favorites of tinder is steel wool. You can find this in any Home Depot kind of store. So yeah, that is just, I would say you don't have to use much because this will ignite immediately. So whatever you do, be carefully that you do not have a whole package nearby where you make the fire. You don't want to make sparks. One of the sparks flies on top of your supply of steel wool, and it will ignite the whole package. You do not want that. So keep the bits that you do not use away. You spread it out a little bit, and you use the ferro rod, and you see it already starts to burn. And there is always in the middle a bit that is burning faster, longer, and that's the only downside to my thing is it burns so fast that you have to be very quick by putting the rest of the Kindle on top of it. So yeah, you have to be very carefully how you use steel wool to use it as a tinder. We're going to the next one. So some people say they would use an accelerant like alcohol or lighter fuel, lighter fuel fluids or some gasoline to start a fire. But in my opinion, that's a little bit unnecessarily takes too much volume, space, and weight for the amount of tinder that you have. And you could use this in so many other things, especially the alcohol, because yeah, alcohol can be used for many things, but in a last ditch attempt you can use it to make a fire, but in my opinion it's not good. So we're going to use lighter fluid. But the thing about lighter fluids or any other chemical fluids that you use for tinder is many people would say, I'll just take the tinder, like this. I'm gonna put it on fire and I'm gonna, yeah, there is now a small fire, but it's already gone, as you can see. So there was only not even 1 full second of fire that you had. So what I would advise is, if you're going to use something like this, like an accelerant, use a little rag. Use it a little bit like a Molotov, and then use the ferro rod. Oh. And now, as you can see, now you have better use of the accelerant because it's been soaked up by this material, in this case a piece of a shirt, and you will have a longer burning time, and it will also start to smolder the piece of cotton. As I can see now, I don't know if you can see it, but it's still burning. I can still see a flame. There's now a smaller flame. and now it's gone. Now it's more smoldering, but it's still smoldering, so you can still use it as a tinder. So I would say if you're going to use an accelerant like this, use it in combination with a piece of rag, an old shirt, or some piece of cloth that can be used to absorb it, and then use your ferro rod. It's highly effective, no doubt about it, but in my opinion, it's a little bit too dangerous to use this. First of all, for chemical reasons that you do not get poisoned, because if this opens up because you let your buccal bag fell on the ground, it will crack, especially these plastic bits, and it will start to leak into your buccal bag. That's no good time. It will make everything a little bit toxic. The fumes are very lethal. That's why they have all these danger warnings on top of them. And it's a fluid. It's really heavy. In contrary to if you choose something like fire wool that you can compress, and it's very light. So yeah, I would say you can use it, but in my opinion, it would be not one of my first choices. So one of the things that you can do to make tinder is I use sawdust. Well, the thing is, you can just take a branch or a stick, and you can just use a file and start to collect sawdust. But the reason why I use a file is I'm talking about real sawdust, not the sawdust that they use to in Disneyland, like to gather puke or something. I'm talking about the finest dust you can find of it. We collect it. I know that this is a controlled environment, but just a way to do it, also to do it during a bug out scenario. So you see, I have made a little heap of sawdust. I'm gonna put the ferro rod on top of it. You have to be careful to not blow it away. But the thing about sawdust is, I don't know if you can see it, but it starts smoldering. And yeah, the thing is, it keeps smoldering. You can see it will start to spread out. So you have time to gather a little bit something bigger to start to make the fire. Yeah, so as you can see, this is a good way to have some tinder, and like I said, it catches on fire really easy with the ferro rod, and that's what we are all about now. So this is Sharkcloth. I made a video about it and how to make this stuff. So if you want to watch that, I would advise it. And this stuff is made out of old clothing, like natural materials like cotton and other linen that are burned within an airtight steel box. So this is actually carbonized t-shirt in a way. So it should be highly flammable. So let's start to make a fire. It should be so flammable that I can just start it with a piece of flint, and some a fire slag, as they call it. Let's see if we can do this. God damn it. Yeah, you made contact, as you can see. I hope you can see it. It starts to smolder. Blow it a little bit. So as you can see, even with this small even with this small of sparks, it can ignite. So I would advise to. It's very light. It's very handy to separate in different pieces, and I would say it's one of the best tinders you can have in your bagout bag because of these reasons. So yeah. So let's go to the next one. So another type of tinder are cotton balls mixed with petroleum jelly. Yeah, or something like Vaseline. I took one of the. I took, if you can probably see, a piece of cotton. I'm talking about cotton balls like like they use in how do you say this, in makeup or some medical devices. Some of those cotton balls you rub them in with Vaseline or some petroleum based jelly, and then that should be, and the cotton ball will ignite and the petroleum will make it last longer so you can make a fire on it. So let's see. So as you can see, it works just fine. It's long enough to make to ignite some kindle, and yeah, it's easy to make with everyday household products. And yeah, even now when it's all burned up, the petroleum jelly and the Vaseline are still working. And now it's out. It's still smoldering. So yeah, that's another type of tinder. So these were my takes on what sort of tinders you should put in your bagout bag, and yeah, these are in my opinions the best ones because they are light, they catch easy fire, they're easy to make with the stuff that you have at home. So you do not need to buy special kind of fire starters that are perhaps probably a little bit more voluminous, expensive, like those in the store. So I would say these always keep at least two different types of tinder in a closed container inside of your bagout bag, and you will be fine. Or learn how to make them on the move. So I would say subscribe, like, thanks. If you get any other homemade ideas for tinder that can be sparked with just a few sparks, like with flint or with a piece of ferro rod, please let me know. I'm always eager to learn. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.